This is part 3 of how you can actually close deals. All right guys, so welcome back to the channel. Super excited about this one. This is part 3 of the how to actually close deals series. Maybe we'll just start doing one of these like once a week or something because you guys really love these videos. And by the way, first of all, if you haven't watched part 1 and part 2, make sure you guys look back on the channel, watch those videos, because quite frankly, it's not how numbers work. You got to go 1, 2, 3, not 3, and then 1 and then 2. It just doesn't make any sense, okay? But the second thing is, make sure when you guys get a chance, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button down below, and of course hit that notification bell. You know, today as we film these videos on Sundays, and today I'm actually be doing the live stream for the mini course giveaway. And by the time you see this, it will have already happened, but we do 1 per month. So don't miss next month because you're not subscribed. That'd be pretty darn silly of you. But with that being said, let's jump into it. Make sure you stay to the end because I've got some amazing content in this video for you guys. Some of the stuff that we've learned with some of our Scale Mastery students of how to actually close deals more consistently. So the first thing I want to discuss in this video is how to deal with objections. So the first thing is, if you're getting a lot of objections, what that means is that you did not do a good job of actually selling in the first place, right? Because basically there's only 3 to 4 main phases of a sales call or of a surplus fund call, quote unquote, right? So the first is kind of just the opening. You know, you're just kind of making sure that they're the right person, all of that. Then you go into kind of figuring out where they're at as far as their awareness, right? Are they familiar with surplus funds? Do they know about the money, right? What do they know, okay? Then you go into actually selling them on the process of surplus funds, right? And selling them on potentially working with you. And then after that, then you go for the hard pitch and the actual close, right? Those two are kind of morphed together. And then the last section is basically objection overcoming and closing the deal, you know, so to speak, okay? So if you're getting a ton of objections, what that usually means is that earlier in the call, in one of the first, you know, 3 and a half, 4 phases, you know, you were working incorrectly. You were not conveying the right emotions you needed to convey. You were not delivering the message that you needed to deliver in the right way. So typically what I see with certain objections is, number one, if you get them, you don't know how to handle them. The first thing you want to do anytime you get an objection is always agree, unless it's just something completely ridiculous. But 99% of the time, always agree. So for example, if I'm on the phone with someone and they say, hey, you know, this seems interesting, but it kind of seems like a scam. I'm not gonna be like, well, this is not a scam. No, you're crazy. This is not a scam. Because now what are you doing? You're putting each other on different sides. You're saying you're wrong, I'm right, and now you're polar opposites. Now you can't work together. You're not coming together to work together. You're pushing each other apart. Instead, I would say, hey, you know what, man, dude, you're absolutely right. Actually, I hear that all the time, and I totally get it. You know, if someone called me and said, hey, Spencer, you know, you're owed $10,000, I would be a little bit kind of like, this is a little bit weird too. So I totally get it, man. But listen, man, I'm obviously a real person, right? I get it, and I want to help you. And I know it's kind of hard to hear that because, again, we just started talking. But, you know, what can I do to you to, you know, ensure to you that this is legit? You know, I've already shared with you kind of our previous success, kind of shared with you kind of how the overall industry works. I mean, did you have any other questions there that maybe you were unsure about that are leading you to maybe believe that this is not real? Right? You see what I just did there? So I agreed with him, and then I said, hey, I totally get it. Sounds like a scam, but trust me, it's not. So, but if you have any questions, like what's really holding you back? You know, another one people might get is a financial objection. And people, guys, financial objections are my favorite, okay? Because first of all, with surplus funds, they're not paying for anything out of pocket, right? You get a percentage, okay? So most of the time, financial objections, when you're selling standard products or you're actually charging upfront for it, you know, typically objections like that are typically not financial objections. Typically they're you know, uncertainty objections. Like financial objections are usually a smoke screen for something else, right? Typically, okay? Now sometimes it's just someone really just doesn't have the money. Obviously with surplus funds, it's not a problem at all, right? Because it's simply how much do you want, you know, to charge them and how much are they willing to accept. And the first thing is how you pre-frame your percentage, okay? So if you come in and say, yeah, and so for this service, you know, we usually charge like 15%, but we're totally open to negotiate for that and da-da-da, right? Does not sound very confident, okay? So instead what you do is you say, hey man, so yeah, you're owed $57,000 here, and for that price range we charge 15%. How does that sound? And you do a long pause just like I did right there, and you just go quiet, right? Because what that allows them to do is allows them to think about it and to really, like, it puts them on the spot like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's normal, right? Because here's the thing about the whole percentage thing, guys. They have this is the beautiful thing about surplus funds, they have nothing to go off of, right? The only way that they would have a number to go off of previously is if someone else contacted them before you did, okay? But assuming that that didn't happen, because 95% of the time that's not going to happen, you're going to be talking to someone that they have no idea. You're not a real estate agent. Real estate agents say, what do they charge? 3%, all right? Well, you're not an agent. So they have there's no mathematical standard in their head to be like, oh, well, this makes sense. It doesn't, all right? And now this is a good and bad thing. The good thing is that you can charge what you deserve, right? The bad thing is that sometimes there's bad people, there's some crooks out there, some, really criminals, that go out and they do this business and they charge 90%, right? And they don't even tell the person, right? They just say, hey, you know what, assign your funds to me, I'll pay you $1,000, and they go and they recover the $100,000 fund all from themselves, right? So don't do that. But my point is that people that you're contacting, they don't have a number that they're comparing this to. So there's no reason for them to question why you charge 15%. Yep, the state says that we charge 20%, that's what we charge. All right, and then you just go quiet. And you don't need to justify it. You don't need to feel like, oh, I need to explain why we charge that much. Just say, yeah, hey, we charge 15%. And if they say, okay, well, what is the 15% for? If they're asking that question, then you have not done a good job of selling what the heck you even do for them in the first place. You should be saying, listen, what we do for people is we find them. We find their funds, and we do literally everything for them to actually recover their money. We handle all the legal fees. We handle all the filing. Okay, we don't normally do this, but you know what? For you, I will go and I will pay for the notary to come to your house to sign the documents. I will literally do everything for you. All you have to do is sign the documents and you will get a check. How does that sound to you? Great, awesome. So for that, we charge 15%. Well, that sounds like a lot. Hey, listen, I totally get it sounds like a lot, but look, if you saw what I was paying and you saw all the work that was going into this, I think you'd understand, right? This is what I do for a living. That's like asking the heart surgeon, hey, you get paid $400,000 a year. I think that's a lot. We should only pay you $100,000 a year. Do you think he'd really be doing a good job for that? Probably not. Not as good as he would for $400,000. So the question is, do you want this done correctly or do you want this done cheaply? You see? So I just did that. So the key thing is, number one is to always agree with objections. Number two is reframe it, right? So you always agree, hey, I get it. Totally sounds like a lot. But let me ask you a question, right? Do you want a cheap attorney or do you want a real attorney? It's easy, right? So those are kind of the two phases of objections. Number one is agreeing with it. Number two is reframing it. And then number three is just following up if you need to with just a simple explanation. Hey, listen, I totally get it, man. I've been there before. This is why we charge that much. And then go into your reframing. It can kind of be either or. Okay. All right, so the next topic I want to talk about, hopefully the objections help, but the next topic I want to talk about is follow-up. So listen, guys, no matter how good your objections are, there's going to be some people, they need time to think about things. And, listen, can you really blame them? I mean, there's some guy that just called them, even as persuasive as you can be, you get a random phone call saying you're owed $100,000 or $10,000, even $2,000. It's kind of weird, okay? So you got to understand, sometimes people just need time. Now, listen, that is not an excuse. If you can close someone on the first call, you close them on the first call. If it's on the second call, you close them on the second. You don't just keep making more calls just because, they need time. Like, maybe they don't need time. They need someone to push them a little bit, okay? But at the same time, this is basically how we follow up with people. So the first thing we do on the very end of the first call, if we've done objections, 2-3 times, then I always want you to end, if you didn't close the deal, I always want you to end with, hey, listen, I had a great time speaking with you today. I just want to actually apologize because I don't want my enthusiasm to come off of as sales pressure. I really just want to help people, and I want to make sure I'm taking care of you to the best of my ability. Right? And that way you're reframing all of kind of that, subconscious pressure that you're putting on them with the objections into like, hey, I'm just really enthusiastic about working with you, okay? Then you schedule, hey, let's book another call, take a couple days, think about it, talk to your wife, talk to your husband, whatever. I totally get it. Why don't we talk in 2 days, okay, or 3 days? I'm available this Wednesday at, anytime after noon, after 1 p.m. Pacific time. What time works for you? Oh, cool, I'm good at 5. Awesome. What's your email? Okay, your email's here. Perfect. I'll send you some information. Also, I just sent you a calendar invite. Do you see the calendar invite? Oh, yeah, okay, I just got it. Awesome. Would you mind accepting that for me? Okay, perfect. Cool, I'll see you then. Right? So you want to double confirm the actual calendar invite. And then guess what you do? You follow up on the call and you say, hey, awesome, Samantha, I know it's been a couple days. Just wanted to chat with you now again. I mean, have you had a chance to talk with your husband, Roy, about it? Oh, I have, and Roy is just still not sure. I'm like, awesome. Well, you mentioned that Roy was going to be a little, concerned earlier about it. I mean, is he available for this call? Is he on this call? Hopefully, this is probably something you want to do in the first call, by the way. If she brings this up or someone brings up that, their significant other or something, they would need to be on the phone, which I agree. So, ahead of time, you should be planning this out. But awesome. Okay, cool. So, did you guys have any questions? Yeah. So we're just not sure about this and this and this part. Awesome. Yeah. You explain everything there, and you say, listen, guys, I want to help you guys. And as much as I believe in making sure you guys are making an educated decision, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make this an educated decision for you. However, at the end of the day, here's the reality of the situation. There is $10,174 sitting, waiting for you to be reclaimed. And the longer that we sit here and talk about it, the longer it's going to sit there and not be in your bank account, right? Now, maybe that's not a big deal for you. Maybe it's not a big deal for me. But at the end of the day, my job is to help you guys, right? And as much as I can sit here and answer questions, the end result we haven't even started moving towards that yet. So, I mean, did you really have any other questions, or was it just, let me ask you a question, or was it just a matter of you not knowing, or is there something bigger? Is it that maybe you just don't trust me yet because we just met? Is it that you don't think this is real? I mean, what is really holding you back? And get to that root cause of what is holding them back from closing the deal. And then once you can figure that out, whether it's you, whether it's the process, okay? And really the third thing it could be is the product, but in surplus funds, I'm kind of tying those together, okay? As far as whether they believe in the product of surplus funds or the process of surplus funds, kind of the same thing, right? But once you can figure that out, then you can say, listen, I totally get it, right? I know we just met. But let me ask you a question. If I had worked with you before, and in that previous working arrangement, I was able to recover you 11,000, whatever dollars, right? And you walked away happy with, 10 grand extra in your pocket. Would this even be an issue, right? Because the thing is, it's hard. I can't build trust with you until you give me a little bit of trust. And listen, I'm happy to answer all your questions, but at the end of the day, like I said, at some point, we're either going to do this or we're not going to do this. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, I did a lot of role play on this video. Hopefully this helped a little bit. This is the stuff that makes me really excited because I love persuasion. I love talking on the phone to people. And we're going to be doing some call reviews this week, actually. So check out for my next video coming out on Thursday because I'm actually going to be breaking down some live cold calls from one of my students and giving them actual tips, which hopefully will help you. With that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe bell and the notification bell rather. And again, that live mini course giveaway will be happening very, very, very soon. I think that's it. So have a great day and thank you for watching the video.